Hey, how's it going? So the other day I went to the Chicago Sky game when they played the Dream, and there's a lot of things that I noticed wrong with that game specifically. Overall, I mean, you could tell by their record, they're 3-10. Overall, the franchise is, oh my God, to put it simply, it's horrible. Like the state that it's in right now, the coach just seem to have no idea what they're doing and how the game should be orchestrated. I actually thought at one point they were actually going to win that game they played against the Dream, despite the Dream being good with a good coaching staff. But clearly, I was wrong. Um, the coaches can't figure out how to keep the team to sustain the competitiveness of the game, and the players can't really seem to close out. So I figured now I take some time to do a little bit of film review, film study of that game, and point out a couple things that I noticed that greatly needs to change, whether that's on the players' behalf, the coach's behalf, or both. Now, as I record this, they are playing actively. They are playing the Sparks right now. It's like around halftime. So, and I'll also be giving a breakdown of that game too. But now let's get into the review. Keep in mind as to what the announcer says before the game even starts.
It has been a struggle guarding the arc all season for the Sky, last in the league in three-point percentage allowed.
The Sky are the worst team in the league at defending three-pointers. And, well, if you haven't watched this game, spoiler alert, the Sky let up a lot of threes. Way too many. So Rebecca Allen is on Ryan Howard, not really trying too hard to move over the screen, a screen that isn't the hardest screen set, just causes you to get scored on. Off a Chicago miss, the Dream get the rebound and start pushing it. And before the ball even crosses half court, you have about 4 Sky players past half court and 2 Dream players past half court. So this should be a relatively easy stop to where they can recollect their defense and hopefully get a stop. However, Eric Atkins, she is like pointing to different players to like let her team know. However, she's not really moving the quickest, and Bantam at some point just stops. So I don't know what was going on. Perhaps it was a communication error. But essentially, Brianna Jones is running back. Angel Reese isn't faster than her, so she can't really get in front of her to stop this fast break layup that is about to happen. So that would be Bantam's job, because she is the furthest back, to get the stop. So she should probably pick this up. She doesn't. It's a breakaway, wide open layup. So Alicia Gray has the ball. Brianna Jones slips, fakes like she's going to set a screen, and then cuts to the rim, and Michaela Onyenwere, she sees that, so she tries to predict that Gray's going to pass to Jones, essentially jumping the play and already playing help before it's actually needed of her. Because she does this so early, Alicia Gray doesn't bother passing to Brianna Jones, as she has somebody right in front of her and 2 people in the paint. So then she sees Naz Hillman running from the corner, and Naz Hillman has done a pretty solid job at shooting this season. So when she gets the ball, wide open 3, knocks it down. With this play, we see Brittany Griner in the paint, and we see Bantam not in the paint, but right next to where the play is going on. Bantam decides to collapse on Griner and play help defense with Cardozo, perhaps like to force the turnover or a jump ball. However, that doesn't really end up working. Brittany Griner turns. Bantam's right in front of her, who left her assignment, leaving Te-Hina Paopao wide open for the 3. And if you know anything about Te-Hina Paopao, you're going to know that you cannot leave her alone to shoot a wide open 3. And in this instance, she catches the ball, shoots, and it just goes in. This play is a good example of showing how Chicago ends up being the team that allows the most three-pointers. And honestly, it only gets worse from here. All the way in the corner, you're going to see Bantam kind of doing the same thing she did on the play previously mentioned. She's in the paint, I guess, looking to play help defense. And I guess the Sky is thinking kind of in a zone mindset, right? If Gray is on the far left side of the court, it is okay to leave Paopao open on the right-hand corner, because if they try to make that skip pass, you can either intercept her or at the very least recover enough to get on defense. However, Alicia Gray comes to the middle of the court. Bantam still ball watching, not really making adjustments because now the person with the ball is closer to the person you're supposed to be guarding. And then Naz Hillman actually makes a very smart play by setting an off-ball screen for Pow Pow. The off-ball screen on Bantam prevents any contest on Pow Pow's next shot, and once again, leaving her open is deadly. She drains the shot. Now, I do have to give some credit to the Dream on this play. Alicia Gray does make a good move in getting herself free, and Brionna Jones does set a very timely screen. However, I can still say Ariel Atkins' attempt of getting over the screen probably wasn't the best. She wasn't moving the quickest, and she kind of almost stuck to Brionna Jones for whatever the reason, however that works. Alicia Gray is probably the worst person on the court to leave completely open. That happens, and well, you know what happened next. So once again, it comes back to Chicago's defense. I don't know what the coach drew up. I'm not really sure how I feel about this man defense, but you leave somebody open in order to play help defense towards the rim. I really don't like that, especially in a situation like this, right? Angel Reese is lagging off of Naz Hillman. Once again, probably assuming that they can't make a skip pass to her. However, the skip pass is not the only thing to worry about. Naz Hillman is standing just outside of Angel's vision, and Angel happens to be ball watching at this moment. So Naz Hillman makes a very simple and easy cut to the basket without her defender realizing for an easy layup. In a situation like that, Naz Hillman really could have also stayed out in the corner because what would have happened? Ryan Howard would have drove, Angel would have slid over. I guess Kamilla Cardozo is just a little bit silly. She's over here laughing at the fact that she has this unfortunate switch on a Ryan Howard. Little does she know Ryan Howard is about to cook her. But Ryan Howard does have a bigger, lengthier defender, so shooting the ball, you're going to have to do with a lot of contests over somebody who is definitely bigger than you. So she does end up kicking it out. However, Chicago can't communicate the switch back, right? You can see Kamilla try and go back to Griner. However, Kia Nurse doesn't immediately come back to Ryan Howard, right? So then Ryan Howard is left open for a bit. Naz Hillman just gives her the ball back. Cardozo comes back out as well as Kia Nurse. Ryan Howard does end up making a really tough move. Hits a big shot over Cardozo. I think that there might be a switch of matchups. Highlights don't really give you the full context. However, Angel seems to be a little bit lost on who she's supposed to be guarding. Gray currently is wide open in the corner. Even regardless of the whole switching thing, Chicago once again loves to play this leave somebody wide open for some reason just to play help defense on the bigs when the bigs is not even why the Dream won this game. So lost on defense, trying to play help on one player will leave somebody open. You leave one of the best shooters wide open and don't make a good closeout at all. You might as well just sat under the rim, just gave her the wide open shot and hope she missed, because this closeout was pretty horrible. She was open for a long enough time to be patient, set her feet, the whole 9 yards, do what she needs to do to score the ball, and that's exactly what happens. Not a whole lot to say on this play. Chicago's defense just lacks energy. That's not really acceptable when you need to get out on the perimeter and come over these screens to stop these three-point threats. Atlanta sets a double screen for Pow Pow, which honestly probably wasn't even needed, but it gives Pow Pow plenty of separation and time to shoot a shot, drills it. So I'm not sure the full context on this clip, but essentially I believe Angel turns the ball over and it's slow to get back, so gives Dream a 5-on-4 scenario. And their transition offense is really good. They don't give a chance to get their defense set. However, I feel as though Chicago doesn't really try. Angel Reese should try to get back faster to help their team get set on defense, especially with the game being this tight, this late. I think Gray's able to slow it down, assess her options. Naz Hillman is wide open, and instead of trying to take the contested layup over Anya Witter, she just hands it right back to Pow Pow, wide open, drains it. That play was probably a better demonstration of Atlanta's transition offense as opposed to Chicago's transition defense. However, transition defense is something they drastically need to work on. Now for this play, we're back in transition defense for Chicago, in which case communication isn't really going on. Cardozo's the last one to come back. She's kind of looking around to see who to guard. Nobody's really telling her, hey, Naz Hillman is wide open in the corner. Nobody's really saying any of that, and she's also not really scanning too hard to see where the open defender is actually at. Pow just makes a really simple skip pass to Hillman. Like I said, her three-point game has gotten better over the offseason. So she gets the ball, plenty of separation, plenty of time. Doesn't matter how lengthy of a defender Cardozo is. The closeout just isn't there, and she makes the shot. What a surprise. I don't know what the coaches are drawing up, but they love to do this help defense on the bigs. Now, in this situation, I could see it working. Angel kind of gets bodied by Brionna Jones. Elizabeth Williams comes over. I don't think she actually affects Brionna Jones' shot, but regardless, Elizabeth Williams is not at a good angle to rebound this ball, and neither is Angel because she got bumped so far. So all Brionna Jones has to do is grab the ball and look around when you know you have Naz Hillman wide open at three-pointer, because for some reason Banham decided to come out. Now, Naz Hillman was not Banham's person to guard. However, at this moment, you have three people wide open. So Banham does a solid job at closing out. Would have left Hillman with a very contested shot, so she hands it over to Canada, who is also wide open. And in this moment, Rebecca Allen sees this, so she's going to do a full sprint over to Jordan Canada. All while Angel Reese and Elizabeth Williams are ball watching. So Rebecca Allen does a full sprint over to Canada, and as soon as Canada even touches the ball's already out her hands to Rhyne Howard. All while, once again, Williams and Reese are completely ball watching. So, Rhyne Howard's wide open. Angel Reese makes a horrible closeout because she's so far away when Rhyne Howard gets the ball. So far away to the point where you might as well just stay in paint and try to get a rebound. You leave one of the best players in this whole league wide open. 1 minute left in a game where you actually have potential to come out with a huge win. Nah, don't even try. Let Rhyne Howard hit the dagger to put the game away. Well, that's about it for this game. I still have another game to watch, do some analysis on that. And I also want to do some videos looking at the stats to really show what this team could possibly do better in the future, and what also players can do individually to do better to help their team win. But that's all I got. I'm out. See ya.